am so glad you agreed to meet here with me. Let me introduce myself. I am Dr. Jacqueline Reeb-Summer. And you are the grandson of the Dr. Getrick that I knew so well and worked with for so long back in the early part of the century. As you know, probably, I was brought here by Flashy and Woody when they rescued Flashy 3 from the Senate hearings back in 2016. I have made my home here in the 2040s and do not wish to return to the past where I am certain Senator Devane has labeled me as some kind of traitor and criminal. So I remain here by choice, but I have little hope for humanity. I am fully convinced that doomsday looms near. And it's not because I believe everything that Father Luke Damiano Jr. yells over the television waves. I see the war between the paper dolls and mankind as only growing worse. And I see King Pedestrian as a dangerous person who could easily bring destruction to the world. Therefore I am asking your help to install this time flux energy field into a vessel that a team of scientists has helped me to build. It is a ship for interstellar travel, because I believe that the only hope for mankind may be to leave this Earth and begin to colonize other planets. Please help me with this project, as I know that only you can, for I know that you possess all of the notebooks from your grandfather Dr. Getrick as well as Dr. Derrickson's notes. I believe we can get this ship launched with a full complement of humanity and send it into the future. Perhaps when it returns, the descendants on the ship can resettle what is left of the world and create a new civilization here on Earth.
Reeb-Summer, when I was growing up, my grandfather, the Dr. Getrick that you knew and worked for, spoke very highly of you to me. He admired your brilliant mind and your work enormously. You have no idea what a pleasure it is to meet you and to have the opportunity to work with you as my grandfather once did. It will be an honor to help you with this project. This will be our own top-secret undertaking. It is something that neither King Pedestrian nor Prince Devane need to know about it. Because the technology which I have the easiest access to is located in the United States, we must launch from there. I will cover my tracks by telling Prince Devane that I am engaging in the development of a satellite attack system to deploy against the masses of paper dolls, and I will sell King Pedestrian on the same idea which he will gladly endorse and be delighted with. This will enable us to work without surveillance or scrutiny. Thus we will launch an able team of mankind both through the stars and through time, and hopefully that we will return to create a brighter future for all of mankind.
T-minus 15 seconds. There goes the second umbilical tower moving away from the Soyuz. T-minus 10. First stage engines are at flight speed. Sit 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff.
Is a world ravaged by a devastating war between the human armies and destructive weapons of King Pedestrian and Prince Devane and the hordes of paper dolls who have propagated and spread and now outnumber humans. In a vicious war in which neither side is right and both sides are hell-bent on domination, there are no real winners, only continued destruction. But a brave undertaking involving Dr. Jacqueline Reeb-Summer and Dr. Getrick Jr., the grandson of the original Dr. Getrick, may create hope for humanity, hope in the form of a space vessel which is scheduled to launch in the very near future.
I've been doing a lot of thinking, Jacqueline. You and I designed the space vessel and played a major part in the recruitment of those who will be on board when it launches. This is where our destiny lies, not here on a planet that's inches away from destruction. I do enjoy working for King Pedestrian, but I do not know how to escape his grasp. If I remain here, I am forever trapped as his unwilling servant, forced to do his evil bidding. This could be my chance and yours too, Dr. Reeb Summer, to get away from this disintegrating world. I believe that you and I both must be on board that vessel when it launches, that we must be a part of those who escape Earth and survive by traveling through time and space. Perhaps when we return in the future, we can help rebuild what is left of the Earth. Join me, Jacqueline. There is nothing left here for you. Join me, please.
Dr. Getrick, you are a man of integrity just as your grandfather was. And you are absolutely correct. There really is nothing here for me in a world being plunged into a devastating war between humans and paper dolls, with a maniacal king at the helm steering the Earth to sheer and utter destruction. Yes, I will gladly join you on the space vessel, and we will be on board when it launches. Our future lies ahead, not here. Yes, we shall escape with the others and be a part of whatever lies ahead for mankind. All of us are the remaining hope of humanity, the remaining hope, Dr. Getrick.
Welcome, everyone. It's Lou Damiano Jr. here, Restoring the World. As you know, now our telecast signals are completely underground. If you're receiving and watching this frequency, please maintain your privacy and secrecy about it. As you know, King Pedestrian has seized all airwaves worldwide in terms of intense surveillance. Therefore, we had to go underground with our broadcast. Those of you who were able to make it to the vessel that has been built, along with a small group of my followers, I want to welcome you in joining up with us on what will be a brave new adventure to get away from this world before its complete and total destruction. As you know, King Pedestrian is quite capable of launching thermonuclear missile devices against the paper dolls. Our intel indicates that at some point he will do this. This will wipe out most of humanity as well. But as you know, King Pedestrian is a megalomaniac with a maniacal lust for power, no regard for human life or any other life as far as that goes that we can tell. Again, we're going to be leaving Earth soon. Those of you who are familiar with the roundup location, we just have a few hours before launch. I want to wish all of you Godspeed. Thank you for heeding the warning and for joining the call. This has been Luke Damiano Jr. Over and out. I am your commander, Major Quint, and along with Lieutenant Tomac, Dr. Getrick, and Dr. Jacqueline Reed-Sommer, I will be overseeing our vast journey. There are 200 of you from all walks of life, from all different ethnic backgrounds, different ages and races, but you are part of an important mission to escape an Earth that is rapidly hurtling toward destruction. We will travel through both space and time. We will visit other habitable planets to establish colonies. And in a century, those of us who have entered cryogenic stasis will join with the descendants here on this ship to return to Earth to attempt to assess the state of the world as it then exists and perhaps resettle it. This has been Major Quint. We are about to begin the launch sequence. Godspeed to all of us.
Major Quint, this is Lieutenant Tomac with a status report. The excess heat generated by the energy time flux propulsion device has triggered the coolant system to use a greater amount of water than we anticipated, sir. It has severely compromised our reserve water supply. We will need to obtain large quantities of water very soon.
Major Quint, sir. I think I have a solution for the problem that Lieutenant Tomac has discovered. I have found a planet just a few hours away that's an ice planet. Perhaps if we are able to get there within the next few hours, we can obtain some water reserves there. Just reporting in. Thank you, sir.
Well, Dr. Getrick, I am glad we can relax here in lounge deck and have a cup of coffee together. Just exactly how far, approximately, do you estimate we have traveled during the past 10 days since our launch, and how much time has elapsed back on Earth according to your calculations?
Indeed, as hard as we've been working today, Jacqueline, a few minutes to relax and have coffee will do us both some good. To answer your question as accurately as possible, I would estimate that we are about 12 light years from Earth now, and that what we have experienced is 10 days, as we would reckon time is about 2 months back on Earth. Major Quent should be joining us here shortly to discuss an important matter with the two of us.
My apologies if two of you were waiting for me. I was detained by Lieutenant Slakowski, who has come upon something very interesting and something that we need. As you know, the energy time flux device and the acceleration level heated the coils, the energy coils. Therefore, we've used a lot more of our reserve water than I had anticipated. Lieutenant Slakowski has spotted a planet that appears to be frozen, an ice planet. This will be a source of water. We'll have to go down there, of course, and transport some of the water back up to our vessel. This will be a major undertaking. We need to assemble a team for this effort. It's vitally important that we acquire more water resources. As you know, we're limited in our ability to create water. Again, I want to thank both of you, Dr. Getrick, Dr. Reeb Summer, for your expertise and your help in keeping up the morale of those on board here. You'll understand that I'm keeping this confidential for the time being. I don't want to alarm anyone. I don't want to create a rumor of a water shortage. We just simply must take care of this as quickly as possible. We'll be arriving at an orbital position around the planet within the next few hours. I will, of course, alert the two of you as we approach this ice planet. Thank you.
Sir, we are arriving at the ice planet. All instrument readings indicate that the surface temperature of most areas of the planet is substantially below zero.
Thank you, Lieutenant Tomac. Lieutenant Farkowski, establish a synchronous orbit around the planet. I remember a little of my Latin word for ice, glacium. This may be not, perhaps, the last frozen world that we ever encounter, but it's definitely the first. So I'm going to christen this planet Glacium 1.
Major, sir, there is an energy signature on my visual screen which I recognize. It is another energy time flux field, and it is coming towards this vessel.
Dr. Reed Summer. Another energy time flux field. Where's it coming from? Is it emanating from the planet below? Where's it coming from?
Major Quent, sir, it did not originate from the planet below. It emanated from Earth, and it has transported someone directly onto the ship. My readings show that it is a human, mostly human teenage male. Our computer files show a DNA match with our archives from the old biotech lab. This should interest you, Dr. Getrick. The DNA readings match a young man known as Timothy Lawrenson, last seen back in the year 2017, some 32 years ago.
Well, Dr. Reed Summer, Dr. Getrick, I think we should both head down to the lounge deck and meet this mostly human Timmy. Dr. Getrick, I should think you would be very interested in meeting him, since apparently your grandfather's biotech lab is somehow involved in all this. Let's head down there.
Wow. Where am I? What is this? Some kind of spaceship? Wow, I must have landed in the future if this,
Beginning to run dangerously low on water reserves. The Future Hope vessel is in orbit around a frozen ice world some 12 light-years from Earth, and an unexpected guest has suddenly arrived aboard the vessel as well.
oh, wow. I'm on looks like a spaceship or something. Kind of cozy in here. Must be the lounge or something.
Hello, Mr. Timothy Lawrenson. Welcome aboard the Future Hope. You wonder how I know your name? It's because Dr. Reed Summer here ran the computer files on you, and we identified you already. Seems you haven't been seen on Earth since 2017. Well, you're a long way from home, son. About 12 light years. And, close to 40 years in the future. A little more than that, even. This is the Future Hope. It is a vessel built to escape devastation that's taking place back on Earth. We will be exploring other worlds and attempting to settle and colonize there. Glad to have you here. Apparently the energy energy flux field brought you here. And brought you here safely in one piece. Well, welcome aboard. You will be given quarters to stay in. You will be assigned duties. I expect everybody here, all 200 people, to be contributing members of this operation. So, I'm Major Quint. Welcome aboard, Timothy Lawrenson.
Dr. Reed Summer. I remember you. You look like Dr. Getrick.
Well, he's the grandson, Timothy, of Dr. Getrick. The Dr. Getrick you knew back in 2017. This is his grandson, our Dr. Getrick.
Wow. Well, everything's so weird around here. Huh. Well, it's got all these super great, wonderful powers. I'm a half human, half machine. I'm not sure if I'd really fit in very well on Earth with everybody there. Things might be better
Major
up here in
Quint,
space.
the scans I have run on Timothy show that he is indeed human, but he has been cybernetically augmented. You could say he has been enhanced, so to speak. He could prove to be a valuable asset to our ship and to this mission as well.
Tomac reporting, Major Quint, on team status. I have put together a team to go down to the surface in the landing pod, and we have loaded the necessary equipment to retrieve 500 liters of water from the frozen ice. We are prepared to embark at 1600 hours with your go-ahead, of course, sir. Quint. This is Lieutenant Tomac here. Our first encounter is with jagged, floating chunks of ice, plenty of water below them, but not stable enough to land. But directly up ahead is a more stable area where we should be able to sit down. About to be there shortly, sir. Tomac out.
Major Quint, we have spotted a source of running water, a steady stream being emanated by the heat below the surface. We are landing the external excursion vehicle directly at those coordinates,
Acknowledged.
sir.
Acknowledged. This is Major Flint here. Appreciate your appraisal of status of mission. Contact me later with more information as mission progresses. Major Flint out.
Lieutenant Slokowski to the Future Hope, landing successful. About to start the pumps up for water extraction into the tanks. Slokowski out.
Major, this is Dr. Reeb Summer reporting in. We will very likely be down here for several hours at the very least, possibly a whole day. Dr. Reeb Summer around.
Future Hope, come in please. We have spotted a large claw mark in the snow. There is obviously life of some kind here on this planet. Sending visual image up to you now, continuing water extraction operation, Lieutenant Tomac out.
It is late 2049, and a vessel called the Future Hope has traveled some 12 light years from Earth, where a shortage of water has drawn them to a frozen planet which Major Quint has named Placine 1.
Future Hope, come in please, Lieutenant Tomac here. We've found something, Major Quint. Looks like a hand or a claw of some kind, and I think we need to bring it up to the ship to examine it. The first full load of water is ready, so we can bring it up along with this thing we found, then we can come back down to get more water, sir. Lieutenant Tomac out.
Message received. Acknowledged. Yes, bring that supply of water back up here. Bring that to whatever you found up here too, and we'll examine it. Major Quint out.
Dr. Reeb Summer here. Major Quint, I am on my way up as well to aid Dr. Getrick in examining this fossil. Definitely the hand appendage of a creature of some type, so there are definitely life forms on this planet.
Slokowski, I need you to remain behind and oversee further water extraction. Keep in touch. Anything happens down there. Major Quint out.
Summer here. Come in, Future Hope. We are about to land near the water extraction site, still attempting to raise Lieutenant Slokowski, have received no response from him whatsoever. We'll contact you again, Major Quint, once we have landed and assessed the situation. Dr. Reebsom around.
Lieutenant Tomac here. I have located Lieutenant Slokowski lying on the ground, unconscious. There is a large bloody claw print in the ice nearby. Whatever the creatures that attacked him, it must still be in close proximity. Arming all 3 laser weapons now, Major. I am prepared to take it out if it tries to attack again. Tomac here, and still in one piece. Have successfully engaged the alien creature with laser weapons. It appears to be either unconscious or dead. We'll bring Lieutenant Slokowski back up for medical attention. Ask Drive Getrick to be prepared for a patient. We'll come back down later with a team to load up the next load of barrels of water, sir. Lieutenant Tomac out.
Late in the year 2049, the Future Hope vessel has traveled some 12 light years where it has begun an emergency water extraction operation on the frozen ice planet Glacium 1 in order to supply the ship with badly needed water. While on the surface of the planet, Lieutenant Slokowski was attacked by a creature which was later killed by Lieutenant Tomac with laser weapons. Lieutenant Slokowski has been brought back aboard the Future Hope to receive medical attention from Dr. Getrick while Lieutenant Tomac and a team have returned to the surface to load more water barrels and transport them up to the Future Hope vessel.
Lieutenant Tomac here, come in Future Hope. Major Quint, I have discovered something inside an ice cave. Something very interesting, some kind of an artifact frozen solid. Request permission to bring it up to the ship for further study. I think that you as well as Dr. Getrick and Dr. Reebsummer will be very, very interested in this thing, whatever it is. We'll bring it up along with this latest batch of water barrels, sir. Lieutenant Tomac out.
Oh, come on, Major Quint, you gotta let me go. You gotta go let me go down there on that mission.
Timmy, you don't have the training or experience of the people here on the ship. We don't know all of your abilities, what all you can do yet. I promise you there will be future missions. As a matter of fact, they're bringing an artifact from the ice now, bringing it up to the ship. Come with me down to the deck lounge. You can see this new artifact.
Huh. That's not an artifact. Well, that's Flashy, frozen in ice. We gotta thaw her out.
I agree, Timmy. Dr. Reebsummer, Dr. Getrick, pay attention to this. Very carefully thaw her out in case she does come back to life. She may be a useful source of information. We need to figure out how she got out here and what time she comes from. She may be able to provide information to us about what's going on back on Earth. Yes, we must thaw her out.
Yes. I will oversee the thawing process, and when she revives, Major, I will attempt to communicate with her. She should remember me from back at the biotech lab 3 decades ago, sir. Yes, she should. Lieutenant Slokowski sustained a wound and lost some blood, but he's going to be okay. A few days rest will have him up in no time. The paper doll creature we found frozen in the ice is slowly thawing out, but a preliminary analysis of her DNA taken from her outer surface tissues does indeed confirm with our computer records that this is, indeed, Flashy the paper
Dr. Reed
doll.
Summer, Dr. Getrick, Timmy, there's only one thing I don't understand. How did Flashy the paper doll get way out here, 12 light years from Earth, on Glacium 1?
Oh, well, she got here the same way I did, I bet. But why did the energy time flux field bring me to the ship, but yet it brought her to the frozen planet below? And how long has she been down there?
Indeed. There's a lot of answers we need to get to the bottom of this somehow.
Allow me, Major Quant, to explain the quantum physics of it. Apparently, Flashy entered the energy time flux field near the Eiffel Tower in France at about the same time we were launching this ship from the Earth. The energy time flux field which she entered was attracted to our energy time flux propulsion field much as a magnet attracts another magnet. The other field was drawn to us, and followed us here, only the laws of quantum physics being what they are, it literally got here before we did. It matched out exact flight path but it arrived before we did, and since we were not yet here, it deposited Flashy down on the frozen planet below. She wasn't prepared for the extreme temperatures and having no way to build a fire, she would have sought shelter, which is why we found her in the ice cave down below. How long has she been here? No way to determine exactly but no more than a few days to a couple of weeks at most, as it has taken us 2 weeks to travel the 12 light years to get here.
Oh my, I'm so cold, so very cold. Being a paper doll makes me quite vulnerable to cold, let me tell you. Dr. Reeb Summer, I recognize you. Timmy, you look different. What happened? And you, the other guy, you look like a much younger version of Dr. Getrick. Anyway, where am I? Where is this? And how did I get here? I remember arriving on a frozen ice world and being terribly cold, so I went into an ice cave, but I had no way to create warmth. Let me take a wild guess. I froze and you people found me and thawed me out? Ha ha ha, I guess I need to say thanks to you kind people.
Hey, Flashy, you're awake. All right. Well, we just thawed you out. How do I explain all this? Well, right now we are on a ship in space. I know I look different to you right now. I was in some sort of car accident. I don't remember it too much, but I know that it tore me up. And Dr. Getrick, the original Dr. Getrick, he rebuilt me and put all this mechanical stuff. Now I'm half Timmy, half cyborg. You've been frozen in ice, and we thawed you out. Any questions?
Yes, Flashy, you are partially correct. I am indeed Dr. Getrick, but I am the grandson of the original Dr. Getrick who created you in the biotech lab. I just want to tell you what an honor it is to finally meet you. You're somewhat of a legend, you know. A legend in your own time, heck. A legend in several time periods as far as that goes. Flashy the paper doll, wow, this is such an honor. Forgive me if I am a little starstruck. Wow, wow, wow.
Deck. One thing that we don't get a whole lot of out here in space on board this vessel the Future Hope is some good old-fashioned live entertainment. Well, tonight, our recently arriving guest Timothy Lawrence's son is going to perform his song Skateboarder's Lament for all of us here tonight. So let's give him a hand and enjoy.
Back in Murgatroyd, sailing all alone, save the world from destruction. Now I'm all alone, this is not my home. Murgatroyd, Murgatroyd is never found so large. I never felt so small. Back in Murgatroyd. Back in Murgatroyd, I never felt so alone. This is not my home. Here I am, I've come to save the world from mass destruction.
First off, I want to thank you, Dr. Getrick, and you, Dr. Reed Summer, for agreeing to meet with me here in the lounge deck. I thought it was best to talk with you both before word gets back to Major Quint. Allow me to be blunt. There are 50 of us here, and there are 150 of you. So we're outnumbered at the get-go. We only represent 25% of the group here. A number of my followers, there's rumblings among them. They feel like this is a technocracy run by technocrats. I mean, both of you are scientists. Come on, this whole thing is a scientific expedition. I mean, look, here we are out here in space, 12 light years from Earth, and already you've picked up a cybernetic skateboarder, a creation of technology, I might add, and that Flashy the paper doll creature, both of whom, I might add, Dr. Getrick, are products of the deadly technology we're trying to escape. Flashy the paper doll is an artificial life form created, or maybe concocted is a better term, by your own grandfather back at the biotech lab decades ago. I don't trust her. Isn't it strange to you that she was already here before we got here? She may be a plant or a spy sent out here to keep an eye on us or, God forbid, sabotage us.
Well, I am hearing what you are saying, but I can assure you that this is no technocracy nor is it a dictatorship run by Major Quant. Those two things are exactly two of the major things we were trying to get away from when we left Earth. But need I remind you that it's this technology that enabled us to get out here to the stars and travel some 12 light years out? And you do not understand the nature of Flashy the paper doll. My grandfather, the original Dr. Getrick, created her, and I can assure you she is not a spy and has no designs on what we are doing here on this ship. She is harmless to you and your followers, and she could even prove to be a valuable asset because of her hybrid biological nature, just as Timmy the skateboarder as a cybernetic being can be a valuable asset. I am amazed at how xenophobic and narrow-minded you have become, Father Luke Damiano Jr. You are creating fears and dangers that do not exist. Your main concern should be challenging circumstances we are faced with out here in space. Just take some time to think over what I have told you just now, and please tell your followers
Luke,
to do the same.
We are simply asking you and your followers to give things a chance. We have all only been out here a few weeks and it's way too soon for divisions and factions among us. We need to stick together. Our own survival as well as the future survival of the human race may be at stake. We still don't know what has happened back on Earth since we left, but you yourself were aware of the imminent threat of a nuclear holocaust. We all have to cooperate. We are the future hope of mankind, which is why this vessel was so named. Please be patient, Luke, and give things a chance. Your followers will listen to you. Persuade them to be patient and optimistic. This might be mankind's last chance. Last chance. I'm certain that you do not want to discuss it or even remember it, but there is something that you have already done in the future back when you were still only human. And you know what it is, and so do Dr. Getrick and I, but no one else on board this vessel knows about it. Dr. Getrick and I watched it happen on the energy time flux monitor. I am talking about, of course, when you shoot and kill King Pedestrian in the year 2051. That is still 2 years from now, so it has not yet occurred, but we know that it will. In most people's minds, Timmy, that was a heroic act and you deserve a medal. I'm not sure that everyone here on the ship would be quite so understanding, so we probably need to keep this between us. But enough about that. I want to know how you are adjusting to life out here in space, live here on this ship. How are you holding up psychologically? We are a long way from home here in the Tau Ceti system, some 12 light years from Earth. Anyway, if you ever need to talk, Timmy, I am available. Now I must get to the debriefing that Major Quent is conducting with Flashy the paper doll. I believe Dr. Getrick is already there in the private conference room. See you later, Timmy, take care, take care.
Well, first of all, Flashy, I want to thank you for agreeing to this debriefing here with me. Since apparently, from all we've been able to gather, the general consensus from Dr. Reed Summer and Dr. Getrick is that you entered the energy time flux field at about the same time the ship launched here. Therefore, you left Earth at about the same time we did. I had hoped you would be able to provide us with information about what happened after you left, but apparently the best you can do is tell us exactly what was going on and what was happening at the time when you entered the energy flux time field. I'd be very grateful, Flashy, if you would please fill me in on that. Please tell me.
Well, Major Quent, I cannot tell you how grateful I am to have been rescued from that frigid ice world where I was frozen solid. Thank you for rescuing me and thawing me out. I can tell you this much. During those last days when you were preparing this vessel, the Future Hope, for launch, our paper doll spies had gathered intelligence indicating that King Pedestrian planned a thermonuclear strike against Paris, France to try to wipe out the largest European population center of paper dolls. I knew then that we needed to begin evacuation immediately, and the energy flux time field began appearing more often, actually recurring every few minutes in intervals about 14 minutes apart. Thousands of paper dolls left through the energy time flux field each time it reappeared, but my family and I waited until the very last. They all insisted that I go first, which is apparently how I was brought to the frozen ice world where you found me. Woody and the Paper Towel twins and the Uncle Frank twins left after me, so I cannot be sure if they escaped or not. I certainly hope that they did. I hope that someday, somehow, I can gain access to the energy flux time field to locate them and that I can rejoin them, wherever they ended up traveling. It is my hope that you and Dr. Getrick and Dr. Reb Summer might help me to achieve this someday. I hope so, I hope so.
Dr. Getrick, hey, I'm starting to remember some things about the accident. I don't remember too much. I can almost remember getting hit by something, and I was on my skateboard. Did your grandfather leave any notes
Timmy,
about the accident?
you are partially correct, so you are indeed experiencing partial recall of the event. You were indeed hit, and you were hit by a vehicle, a car. What my grandfather did not include in his notes was the identity of the person who struck you with the car, although he does mention that they brought you to the biotech lab and that you were clinically dead at the time. He was able to bring you back to life, but only by rebuilding parts of you with cybernetic components, thus making you the way that you are now. Of course, with the components comes many enhanced abilities, which is, of course, a great
Timmy,
bonus.
speaking from my own personal experience, it isn't always easy being different. When I was first created, I thought I was all alone, unique, and I encountered so many who reviled me simply because I was so very different. The living, breathing paper doll. But you and your skateboarder friends were some of the first to come to my rescue and to support me, and for that I shall always be grateful. And you warned me and Woody that time back in the 1690s when the nearby religious fanatics were going to burn me and Woody and the two Wakanani Indians at the stake. And then you were on the scene when the Murgatroyd serial killer dismembered me and you taped me back together and got me to the biotech lab where the original Dr. Getrick saved me. So you have been there for me, Timmy, and I certainly hope that I can do the same for you. Hang in there.
Well, Flashy, Timmy, if the two of you will excuse me, I have a patient that I must attend to. I must check on Lieutenant Slokowski's recovery since he was attacked by that creature on Glassy M1. I will talk to you both again very soon. Have a great evening.